Okay, here we go. So we're going to be taking a look at our first replay review from our free coaching giveaway from the feedback forum. So big shout out to Zenor0 who's getting coached here, but also to everybody that took the time to fill out the feedback form. I had like 450 forms in total. A lot of great ideas from that. So big shout out to all you guys. Congratulations to Zenor0 for winning this. This is a Platinum Reinhardt on Busan. I like to preface this with some additional information in case there's anything you can relate to the review. The game went like many of my losses in that it was very close. I felt like if I played even marginally better, we could have won. As for me, I started playing Overwatch around the middle of Overwatch 2 Season 1, but it's mostly just have fun with friends, and I had no clue what I was doing. Season 3, competitively, more seriously, climbed from Silver 3 to Plat 5. Congrats. Season 4, I've been bouncing around between Plat 4 and Plat 2. Your tank, mostly solo queue, try to be flexible as possible so I can play most of the tanks at a viable level, besides Doomfist and Ball, who are too mechanically complex. Going to be better to focus on a small number of tanks I know, which is my general approach. I main Rein with more hours in him than the other tanks combined, but I find that some games the best thing to do is to counterpick the one enemy who's causing the most trouble. Since the Rein is the tank I want to play on and focus on the most, I want a lot of gameplay tips from content creators such as yourself, like Cloudy and Bowie as well. This is help, but there's still games where I feel powerless and can't contribute to the team. I know my fundamentals definitely need work. My goal is to reach Diamond, to be able to consistently reach my Diamond level. Goals, what I'd like to learn from most of this coaching session is what my biggest problems are and what specific techs I can take to improve my gameplay effectively. Like your content, perfectly happy for the YouTube video to be public, so thank you. All right, well, let's take a look here really quick. This is Platinum Reinhardt. Like I said, one little caution with your playstyle right now. You said that you do like to counter an enemy pick. The problem with that is, especially with a hero like Reinhardt, to understand and climb with Reinhardt, one of the best things that you can do is play Rein in suboptimal circumstances and try to find out what Rein brings to the table. You see, there are a few tanks and a few circumstances where I feel like there are limited options with playstyle adjustments. Like a hero like Orisa and a Roadhog, for example, don't have a lot of flexibility with how they can play. However, I feel like with Reinhardt, there is a little bit more flexibility with how you can position yourself, whether you could be going for a tank line, whether you can be going for a back line, whether you could be clearing high grounds, or getting on the flank, or getting in the front line. And I think that you would benefit at least from a little bit more limit testing in situations and rather than counter picking. So you do say that you have more hours in Reinhardt than the other tanks combined. That's good. So we'll take a look at how we're executing on here. So Reinhardt, you hit people with hammer. That's it. You try to hit people with hammer. You look at the enemy composition, who are the easiest people to kill with your hammer. Not Mercy, not Moira as much. Although they're pretty good. It's going to be Hanzo, Cassidy. Those also happen to be the most lethal characters on the enemy team, and therefore they become doubly more attractive. So we're going to take a look then. Looking to clear out, for example, like right now, your priority really needs to be this guy on the left. Because if you ask yourself, who is playing more aggressively on your team right now? Is it, or the enemy team, is it the Cassidy or is it the Reinhardt? The answer is the Cassidy. And so what you need to do is you need to push this Cassidy. You need to go hit him with your hammer. If the enemy Reinhardt does the same to your backline, okay, you hit the enemy backline better with your hammer than he hits yours. But what will often happen in low to mid rank and even high ranks is the enemy Reinhardt will go, hey, I don't want that Reinhardt hitting my backline with a hammer, and he'll go hit you with his hammer. But the thing is that you are getting a 2-for-1 trade because you're still getting the space that you're creating. And instead of the Reinhardt going for your backline, he's actually going for you, which Reinhardt versus Reinhardt is a fairly important matchup, but it's not very efficient use of his attention. So if you go for a squishy, and you not only get the squishy's attention, but you also get the enemy tank's attention focusing on you, it's the best case scenario. It's amazing. It's amazing. If he trades with your backline, okay, it's kind of equal, you know. But this is something that you act like you have to think about creating and clearing space. As I try to hit people with my hammer, and I prioritize the people that are scary to my team or are killable for me. Who's killable? Who's scary? That's the space that you need to create. You see, the space here is useful for your team, right? If you're able to clear out this space right here, theoretically your soldier could maybe rotate over here and take this off angle here, but that's a long way in the future. That's going to take a long time to get there. What's immediately important is that this Cassidy is not able to take this angle and flank on your team and get a kill with it, or that your soldier is able to take this angle and flank onto the enemy backline right now. You see, this flank and angle is immediately important. It's immediately available, and the way that you create that space is by pushing out that angle. Okay, so your job as Reinhardt is to look at the battlefield, be like, that's scary, that needs to be dealt with. Ooh, that's killable, that needs to be dealt with. And if you aren't, see, this is the problem, right? All of your attention's in the wrong direction. You are like, not even, it's not just the pin, it's just the fact that you are looking at Reinhardt. Which Reinhardt is creating more space right now? The one that's actively pushing your soldier, or the one that's pinning and focusing on the enemy Rein trade? You see, you've already lost. I'm being a little bit facetious here. Like, obviously you haven't already lost, but you have already made a huge error because now this Cassidy has easily control of this off angle, and your soldier positioning is terrible. That's your fault. Thankfully, their Cassidy gives up the angle because, you know, this is flat, so mistakes aren't going to be punished. Good pin. Good trade. Notice, by the way, the most space that you've created is when you actually kill the squishy. That's unfortunate. These pins need to hit. These pins need to hit. If you are going to, listen, if you are going to focus on the Rein trade, you better darn well win the Rein trade. You're not always going to be able to avoid the Rein trade. For example, the Reinhardt might be between you and all the off angles that you want to control. Maybe they're all stacked behind Rein. Then win the Rein trade. So it's obviously the Rein trade is important. It's not a trade that you need to necessarily to be avoiding. So this is fine. It's a bit strange, but it's fine. Now, why? The interesting thing here is that of all the times to focus on the Rein trade, it would be now, because there isn't really any aggressive off angle that you need to push out. So what you could do is you could force out and clear out this Reinhardt, maybe make him back up, and then you get an access to his backline afterwards, right? You can also just avoid it and skip and pin to his backline. I mean, that works too, but that's just a lot more risky, right? Whatever the DPS and the squishies that you want to access are behind the tank, you sometimes have to focus the tank first to access the squishies. That's why it was so important that you went for the Cassidy here earlier, is because he wasn't behind his tank. He was on an angle, so you could avoid the tank and go for backline. But this situation, it's like the tank is in front of you and you're just skipping the tank, which is fine, I guess, but it's not necessary, right? It's totally fine to do that, but it's just not necessary. And ironically, the one time when you want to be focusing tank is when he's directly in front of you, and there is no other defense. You're missing almost all of your pins as well. So again here, like situations like these, this is where you can get a massive health advantage, right? Like this right here. You need to steer into this Rein and hit him into the wall. That's a huge HP advantage you can get from the get-go, and then you'll have your shatter a little bit faster. You could either do that, or you could be like, again, right now, do I need to be focusing Reinhardt? There's a Moira right in front of me. There's a Mercy right in front of me. There's a Hanzo right in front of me. I don't have to focus on the Rein trade here. I need to be going cloudy on the backline and killing these guys because they're right in front of me, right? I don't have to go through the Rein anymore. He's already past me. So either you need to win the Rein trade here, or even better, actually go and swing at the backline. Unfortunately, you do neither. You miss the pin. You're now in no position to, well, not in no position, but it's harder to go on tank line now. And then you also lose the tank trade. So kind of a disaster, right? And strangely enough here as well, notice that you cancel your pin before you get to the Cassidy. You should be canceling your pin here so that you could actually hit him with your hammer. But you cancel it too soon, just before you get him, and then now you're dead. Okay, so definitely some fundamental misunderstandings of what you need to be doing in terms of who you need to be pushing. I want to see a solo shatter here. You want to rotate the point. I mean, I think that's reasonable enough. It does mean that you lose high ground, and obviously you still have a choke to walk through. So something to consider as well is if you want to push, you don't like pushing through here, rotating this way is okay. They can push you in the choke, but at least their DPS don't have off angles, like you don't get pincered. And you can also walk out top here as well. But we're going to pin off the map. Good. Just solo shatter, honestly. Or you don't even need to, I guess. It's just the greatest. I want to see this. 2 Reins. Let's go. Okay. Ash. Okay. Again, like, these have to hit. Like, you have to be, like, responding a little bit later. Like, you've missed almost every pin. And then what the problem with this is, this now allows 2 things. Number 1, it allows the DPS to take more off angles, like over here, because you can't pin at those angles and, like, harass them like a Winston dive. And number 2, if that Rein wants to focus on the tank trade, he might go, I want to pin and kill the soldier. Well, now you can't stop him. Now you can't trade his backline. Or he might say, oh, this Rein doesn't have pin. I'm going to pin him. And again, you can't stop him either. Maybe you shatter him. But that's not right. You're thinking about it. Shattering at that point range means that he will be able to pin and respond. So obviously not good. Okay, so they're gonna go co-side. So you've got an option. You can either meet them toe to toe and kill this Cassidy, or you can go dive backline. As long as the fight's going, you are free to do whatever you want here. You're gonna pen. Be careful because he has shatter as well. Do not go for the Rein. Go for the Moira right in front of you. Go for the Ashe. Let's go. You've got him now. Stop trading on the Rein. Yes. I wouldn't prioritize. The only problem here is I wouldn't prioritize Moira because she probably has her Fade. What I would do is I'd keep my head on a swivel, actually pay attention to what's going on in the fight, and pin this direction, and swing and kill both of these DPS, right? So you're going for the Moira, who's probably the worst switch to go for. Meanwhile, the two DPS that you should be pinning on would not only have been killed, but also would have not killed your team. Did you notice that? It's not an accident that the squishies that are easier for you to kill are also the ones that are more lethal to your team. It's part of the balance, right? That's one of the weaknesses of playing Cassie or Ashe is that they don't have a lot of mobility. So you need to be exploiting that. And if you're not, then they're gonna kill you. Whereas Moira's one thing going for her is her mobility and her survivability, and you going after her is just giving her value, because that's exactly what she wants you to do. She can fade you away and then waste your time. It's not a bad target, but there are better targets out there. Same play. Let's see a solo shatter. Please don't shatter the Rein. Please don't shatter the Rein. Again, it just seems like you're pinning here with no real reason of who you're going for. Like right now, where should you be pinning? If you're gonna go cloudy mode, it'd be on Ana. Right? Go kill the Ana. And then if you don't kill the Ana, at least you have a better path to go get the Cassidy, right? You need to have an idea of what you're pinning on. You're a dive tank. Like one of the cloudy isms is that you are a dive tank. And the problem is that you can watch all the cloudy that you want. But if you don't actually do what he does, then you're not going to get better. And I know I'm being tough here, but I think this is for everyone that's playing Reinhardt to pay attention to this, right? Think about this. You're diving, but you're diving nothing. You're diving air, right? Don't just pin on nobody. Dive, cancel your charge, block, sleep, solo shatter, kill. Right here, you're still looking at Reinhardt. By the time you actually focus on anything, it's too late. Now, maybe this fight was lost regardless, but I think this is a real problem, right? That's it, right there. That's it. But don't turn around and look at Reinhardt. Where's your next target? Shatter, right now. You must shatter these switches. It's too slow. It's too slow. Like, it's talking about a millisecond faster. And maybe you're able to avoid that charge. Maybe you're able to get the kill on the squishies. Okay, so let's keep going. I'm gonna actually close the window because that's getting kind of loud. We'll leave it. You guys, there's some yard work going outside. You guys will survive without it. It's ASMR. You'll be fine. Okay, so okay, it is a little loud. Give me just a second. So, big things so far. Dive Rein. Find the squishy. Push the squishy. Push the squishy that's either most killable or most aggressive onto your team. Obviously, that last fight, there was the Ashe and high ground, but you couldn't get to her. That is the weakness of Reinhardt's mobility. And, you know, take the tank trade if he's between you and the targets that you want to get. Or avoid the tank trade with how you're pathing. One or the other. Okay. Your team is pushing. Pen. If you see your team engaged, you need to go. Like, I get not wanting to push in through. Maybe you go back to point and focus on, you know, control. But like, you see your team going, go. Dive. Pen. Yes! 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 Obviously, you end up killing the Moira, but even if you don't kill the Moira, look at where you are right now. They are cooked. Hit him. Hit him with him. Hit him with it. Hit him with it. Hit him with it. No! No! You had the right idea, just bad execution. Okay, and that's where a little bit of the mechanics comes in. Like being able to block cooldowns, being able to hit your fire strikes consistently. Very important. Reinhardt is not a mechanically light hero, necessarily. You need to be hitting your charges. You need to be hitting your fire strikes. Good. Good. Right idea. Now, your team isn't fully with you, so you need to be careful here. Even though your Moira is with you, you've got a couple members of team in spawn, so please be careful. If this doesn't work, that's why it's not going to work. Not that this is bad. You're going for the Cassidy, right? So, you know, you send him out of position and you almost kill him. So the only problem is that, obviously, you do get naded, but that your team isn't with you. So, again, right idea. Just, it was a 3v5, so that was never going to work. Okay. You. I was gonna say, don't just stand there. Play dive Reinhardt. Goodbye. Even if you don't get the kill here, this guy has to go back to his team. Oh, you are gonna get the kill. Oh, you're not. Oh, your soldier's in? Go. Look at this. Dive Reinhardt. Dive Reinhardt. Dive Reinhardt. Let's go. 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 Pin. Don't, the fight's starting. Go. Don't wait. Yes. Thank you. Protect your team, right? Sure. Probably not necessary, but it's fine with me. Ooh, you're low. Careful. Now, where's your team? Do you know the answer to that question? The answer is no, you don't. So please be careful. Looking at your team right now, you probably don't want to push past this choke where your on-end soldier can't help you. Again, the pins are just bad. Like, obviously, there's no way that that pin was going to land, but you have to, like, act. It's like you predict the pin, but it's a bad, right? Because this means that now you no longer can push. Look at this. You can't pin this. You would love to pin this guy into Narnia, right? And then just shield him off, and then you'll cancel him. You can't. Who are you pinning? Who are you pinning? On the front. Who are you pinning? You don't know, dude. Problem. Big problem. Don't go get the squishies. Yes. Even if you just zone the squishies. There we go. We knew who we were pinning there. We just didn't do it properly. Good little shield dancing there. It may clutch you guys out the round. Gonna be close. Yeah, looks like you guys got it. So I want a purpose with your dive, Reinhardt. I want you knowing exactly who you're going for and whether now is a good time to go for them because your team is engaged in the fight. Either can help you directly or indirectly. I need you to stop using your charge if you don't have an idea of what you're pinning. Don't try and predict, react. They walk to the choke, you hit the charge. Right? There's a squishy over there, you hit the charge. Tank walks out of the choke, you hit the charge. Your charging is not, it's not the fact that you're charging too much, it's just that you're actually wasting your charge and then you don't have it when you really need it. You're also blindly charging into the enemy backline without really knowing who or what you're going for. So then you just charge into Narnia and there's nobody to hit with your hammer. And then obviously, like we talked about earlier, a little bit too much tank emphasis. That was a little bit better that last round though, which obviously is a better result. Again here, it's like you hit the wall and it's just like, no, like you're just kind of like pressing the button. Like now we need to charge. Now that we've kind of angled our camera onto the Zarya, hit the charge, right? Hit the gritty, you know what I'm saying? But it's not happening right now. Obviously, this fight was lost kind of just based off the casting you take through the fight. But like your charge, I won't even say your mechanics. You're just very, you're not consistently focused with how you're a little lazy with how you just kind of press it, you know? Avoid taking damage, and here's what you could do. Chat, how do we think about this? If you're watching this video, how would you take space? How would you walk out of this choke? Your shield's getting melted. Obviously that your team is a little bit in spawn, so again, this is a consistent problem with you where you're trying to like take or hold space when your team is in spawn. Think about it. You're either going to wait for your Reaper to go out here, 3, 2, 1, burst out, swing onto these squishies, or pin all the way over here onto the Ana and start hitting her with your hammer. And then that's going to force them to peel back, and then that's going to allow your team to walk into the choke. Or kill the Ana and then go turn on the Zarya afterwards. But right now, your Reaper's here and you don't have shield. Yes. So this is the right play. It's just terrible execution because you've taken so much damage before the fight started. You literally have half of your HP and half of your shield. And you're also missing a fire strike. So, yeah. Not good. There they are, they're marking you, they're matching. Wrong idea. So you've gotten out of the choke. Good. But why are you pinning on the Moira? You're pinning on an off angle, which is like generally more attractive than pinning into the middle of the enemy backline. But again, this is not a killable target. She's moving too fast. She has her fade. You're not going to kill her. See, so now you're out in the void, away from your supports, not controlling space, not applying pressure. Good. Gambly, but understandable. Yes. You get a little lucky there. But it's like, when you do pin a squishy, it's not always the right one. And I think that's the problem with the Okay, let's keep watching. You can hold the choke aggressively here if your team is with you. Your Ana's a little too far away. I don't know why she's so far away, but yeah, I would be trying to hold the choke and then maybe back up if you see that your Ana's not walking with you. Okay, I want to see this right here. So right idea here, using your pin to kind of ping pong back from door to door. The only problem is that you're just a little bit slow in the charge cancel. You should have been able to block that. Maybe you did block it, but you just stopped shielding. I'm not really sure. But that's fine. Go. Yep. Good. It's fine. It's risky, but it's fine. Like, I mean, it's understandable. Maybe you could have canceled the pin earlier, but yeah, whatever. Okay. We get back in time. Fine. And now you have the high ground. Now you're not even holding a choke. So screw this guy. Find the honor of Cassidy. Let's go. Yeah, that's it. Easy peasy. Yeah, very good. Maybe you didn't need to use chatter there, you know, like considering that you were already up 1 or 2 at that point in time. But reasonable. Oh, here. Okay. Good idea. But again, it's just the execution. You know, it's like the idea is fine. It's just the execution is bad. So I'm not even mad at that. It's gonna troll you the match, but like I'm not even mad at that. Okay, let me show you exactly what I mean by this. Let me just jump into a quick play game. So again, the idea is look at the composition, find what squishy is most pushable depending on the map situation. Now entering. And who's playing aggressively, and then push that target. Create space by diving the enemy team, but obviously choose who you dive on based off of who's playing aggressively and who is killable. Like, the Moira was playing aggressively, but that's also because she's not killable, right? You should be surprised when the Moira is playing aggressively. Now, I would rather go for a Moira than, say, like a Diva or Winston a lot of the time. I think that will create more space and more pressure, but I think it's something you need to practice. Okay. I figure a live demonstration, especially considering we finished a little before 30 minutes, might be in the works. Now, I'm a horrible writer. I'm so washed at this game. However, I'll try and at least narrate what I'm trying to do, so when I feed miserably, you guys will at least have the theory of what I was trying to demonstrate here. What skin should I use here? I'm a big fan of Reinhardt, personally. It's an old school skin, but I think it does the job. So again, first question. Who in the enemy team is pushable, killable? Second question, are they, like, I answered that by knowing who is killable by me and also who's playing aggressively, and then trying to be as disciplined as I possibly can with my HP and my shield resource before I dive, right? And then executing my dive. If there's a tank between me and who I want to go for, I will focus on winning that tank trade. Reinhardt is very good at taking tank trades versus basically every tank. But even with Rein, you want to avoid the tank trade if it is avoidable. I'm gonna say if I must, it's so embarrassing. So I'm gonna start out here just because I think it's gonna be the fastest way to close the distance there and do this. So not gonna spend a lot of time with the tank trade as much. I'd say Brig, Lifeweaver, those are killable targets. Echo, that's not a killable target. So I can't really push her. There's a Hans on the left I might be able to play. Can I even hit him? I can't. Here's the space. Grab the Mega. Find the next target. I can't really deal with Echo, so I'm gonna wrap the point. Now I pin this for space. Echo's on the floor, so I can clear her out. I'm missing a little bit of HP. So I'm not gonna really go for the Doom as much. Instead, I'm gonna zone the heal. See, now he's gonna peel back on me. That's exactly what I wanted to do, and that's how we got it. So you guys see that? I want him to peel back on me. I want him to focus me. If he focuses me in front of his team, it's cooked. They go Cassie, which is ironically even worse because Hanzo is kind of tricky because it's a high ground. Like, I was just kind of hoping that I could hit my fire strikes, you know, because I couldn't really get them. Like, there's the Moira, there's the Diva. I don't really want to push this guy because I'm trying to wait for him to walk out the open, right? If they push out the open, that's why I need to go. There's the Cassie, I can come for that. Bit of a fart, and you guys see that? That's part of the reason why they did not feel very good. I'll peel back into Diva here because tank trade's fine, and I don't have my pin, so I can't really do anything. So she's out, now I go back over to the other side. I'm looking for Lifeweaver now. There she is. I don't want to overextend, so I turn back on the Diva. Clear her out. You notice I'm just playing ping pong here, right? Going back and forth. There's a Moira in the back line, there's nothing left to do, so I might as well push her. Going back and forth, back and forth. Anything that I can push. The worst thing that plays Reinhardt into is something you can't hit with commanded, right? All the balance is that if it's like a Trace or Sombra, you know, that if it's something that I can't push, it's often something that doesn't have a lot of damage. I've played Reinhardt and dive comps, and it's actually kind of fun because they don't have a lot of damage, so you can just kind of pin around the map. Let me see if I can catch this. Now Zen is scary. Zen is a lot of damage, but if I can get on top of him, he's just instantly dead. They're gonna have to rush the cut. I can stop that from happening. Yeah, so you notice that I'm just like, the one play that I didn't love was the pin across the Cassidy all the way to the other side. That's one of the weaknesses of Reinhardt's mobility, is that it's not quite as fast as like a Wrecking Ball or a Winston jump. So I needed to be a better Cassidy would have punished me there.